Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of our rat rod build. And today we're going to figure out whether or not we're going to get steering in this thing or not. I'm not super faithful because last week we seem to have found some real problems with our steering box. Let's get into it.
I wanna taste the pain. I think I'm seeing all red. 2 bullets in the gun, 1 shot to the head. I need a blank space. 'Cause everything is a threat, but I never back down. Man, I'd rather be dead. I'm making love to fate. And she look better in bed. Never walk this life till I take my last breath. I wanna make a change. I got 1 life left, so I'm gonna go down swinging. Don't you forget.
All right, let me get this bad boy out of the way. We've lost power like I don't know how many times because of storms. This is the bad boy right here. This is the steering box, and it's a manual steering gear. I gotta put it back together. We took it apart internally to see if there was any damage. There's no damage to it, so that part of it's good. However, the shaft and the pitman arm have excessive amounts of play. We're just gonna say that. So being a rat rod, we may just weld this in place. May. So with that being said, I'm going to put the box back together. We're going to find center on it, center of its travel. So technically the wheel would be, you'd be in the middle of all its travel. We're going to go ahead and get it set back onto the truck. Now the angle of the box was also off, too far down. So we're going to actually have to, you probably utilize one of those mounting holes. We'll tip it up and we're going to go ahead and drill some new mounting holes. Now when we find the center of travel within reason, we're going to see how our steering linkage lines up to it, and if we're happy with it, I may just throw a little weld on that baby, and, well, that takes care of the damaged shaft and saves a ton of money on a new box. Is it the right thing to do? No, it's not, but it is a rat rod. I know at first glance it doesn't look like it's that bad, but there's so much wear on the shaft and the pitman arm itself that it slid so far up that it's actually coming in contact with the box housing itself. So it's actually too high for where it should be right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this nut back off, pull this all out, find center of travel, get a temporary bolt on the truck, and I'm gonna go from there. All right, good news is the pitman arm is off. We have found center in the steering gear itself. We have gone ahead and marked it right here. Relatively speaking, it's centered. So we'll go ahead and bolt it back on the truck, as far as temporarily at least bolting it, to get at least an idea where this will go in relation to on the shaft, so it's mid travel on the steering on the truck itself, and then probably gonna break the welder out. Yeah, it's a good damn thing that Steve is not here, because I'm pretty sure he would leave right about now. All right, so this thing sucks so bad to bolt in. The only bolt you can actually get to within reason is right here. But anyway, I got it bolted in, and I got the screwdriver shoved in here for an alignment as to where it was. And as you can see, the angle is this coming out, and the angle of the shaft coming out of the truck, we got a pretty decent angle there. We're going to be looking to reduce some of that angle without putting an additional U-joint in here. So I think we can tip it back, rotate it, and drill a new set of holes, and I think that'll take care of that. However, now that this thing is in mid-travel, and I got to crawl underneath here to make sure that we're still, okay, I see our marks. Yep, we look good. All right, so there's that. Our wheels are approximately mid-travel. Now we'll get our pitman arm, which is right here, and we will set it on the shaft with one hand and hold the camera like that. And that is approximately what we'll do is we'll mark, I'll get under there, I'll mark the pitman arm, and that should be about mid-travel as far as everything goes on our front end. And then what we'll do is we'll take it back off, I'll tack weld it in place, put it back on, and then see if we in fact can get enough travel out of this thing. Yeah. My son did say, if you have it in your lift, why are you not using it? That's how you clean the floor. But I don't know the answer to that. Okay, so over onto the welding bench. We've cleaned the end of the shaft up, wire brushed it, hit it with some good old brake clean. I actually sandblasted the end of this pitman arm. So we're gonna go ahead and slide that on there about about there, and then give her a old tacky in a couple spots, throw it back on the truck, and see if we in fact have travel and steering. If we do, We'll finish welding it and then work on our mounting holes. To do things right. In the retrospective, well, the fact this is a rat rod, this is not a customer's vehicle. No, I would never do this. I don't care if they even signed the form. But the fact that it's mine, no, that changes things up a little bit. So we're gonna recheck our alignment marks and give it the old gusto. Right there. All right. See what happens. Fire my glue stick up. There's one, tacky. There's two. Alrighty, back over to the truck. Bolted it back in. Connected our steering linkage up to the pitman arm that we have just tack welded in place. And remember, we had no travel on our steering at all because things would just bind up, and this had tons of play on it. But now we get full left, we get full right. That is a win. Now, it's not perfect, all right, people? Relax. I've got to bring this whole box and take some of the angle out of it without messing up the angle of our steering linkage in that pitman arm. So my hope is to be able to bring it up some. If not, we're going the U-joint route. Okay, so we can't tilt it up like I thought it was going to be as easy as that. Tilt it up. We don't have enough angle in our joints here. Then they would bind at the joint next. So these are happy right here. But here's our steering shaft just set on there, as you can see. It's not happy right here because we're binding into here. It's just too tight. Now, if this shaft coming out of the steering box wasn't so long, that might work. I'm gonna have to do a U-joint or a universal shaft, something different, or find something at a junkyard. But now I gotta research U-joints. Let's see. I went into my junk pile. I found another shaft. It's way too freaking long. This actually comes out of a half-ton truck, I think. That I don't know what it is. Maybe an S10? The hunt goes on. Okay, the search is on. I don't think, or I like to say that we have a junkyard. I just happen to have a lot of junk in my yard. There's an S10 cab, different altogether. This is starting to not look good. Whole bunch of parts in here, none of them are right. That sucks. My storage unit. And what the heck, you might as well look it on a dime here. See how this one's set up. Again, I don't know what that is for a steering shaft, which sucks. Nope. Maybe. Could be. No, that looks too small as well up top. Damn it. All right, I'm gonna get this thing fully welded. I gotta research some U-joints. I'll get right back to you. We've got our pitman arm all bolted back onto the steering box. But the search for the shaft, it is continuing. So I need to get a couple measurements, back to the drawing board on that one. All right, hear me out. I may have a resolution to the steering shaft. Look at this. Just kind of set in there. None of the angles are crazy. I've seen much worse than this on anything. There's no binding. Yeah, that's just sliding on the spline. This is not tight. Now, I angled the steering box up. Now, remember, it puts too much of an angle on the pitman arm. But I think what we're going to do is, if we mounted it like this, just hang with me, we could use this shaft, put a little heat here, and a little tweak, and now we've flattened that pitman arm back out to meet the angle we need for the steering to hook up. I mean, we've gone this far. I mean, worth a shot, right? So I think I got the hole, or at the angle I want that steering box. I'm gonna see if I can't mark a couple holes, mounting holes, see where they line up in the frame, maybe throw a couple holes in there and drill them. Let's see. All right, the holes are marked. What's a few more holes in the frame? I think that'll be fine right there. And I can actually fill in these other holes when I drill these holes out. But for all intents and purposes, we need to do this to, well, test it and see if this is gonna work. Drill a couple holes, let's find out. All right, another set of race holes has now been drilled. I gotta get some new hardware for this. I shaved down the spacers that he had made and straightened those out. and we'll bolt it in. Okay, so the steering box is now bolted in. We've got our red wrench out. We're gonna put a tweak in the pitman arm to realign, so in other words, a little tweak right here to realign our steering. And I think we'll be good to go. Oh, and Steve just called, was asked how things were going. I'm like, oh, it's great. Things are going freaking great. All right, did a little tweakage, letting that cool, and then we'll test fit this. Maybe we gotta tweak some more, maybe not. We got our steering shaft bolted back up. It's still not perfect, but you know what? She spins free. There's no binding at all. So that's a bonus because we couldn't even do this before. It's actually bolted in. Now, the whole firewall is still a little loose, meaning I gotta bolt that in a little bit more, but yeah, it's all good, bud, because things are going well now. We're close to having steering. Steve hasn't called yet either. All right, so it turns out that I gotta do a little more tweaking on the pitman arm. We're freaking close. Oh shit, Steve's calling. This will be good. Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, man? How's that steering going?
It's going. I'm getting things figured out, I think.
Yeah, get all the parts figured out that you need?
Yeah, we got all the parts figured out. I think I can do it without even getting any parts.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it's fine, bud. You'll be happy when you see it. It's a good thing you didn't come here today because it would have stressed you out.
Listen, I can feel my OCD already flaring up, so let's just make sure that thing's squared away before I get there next time, all right?
Oh yeah, safety first. I gotta go. We have a small fire, bud.
Uh-huh. All right, good luck.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ooh, damn. I don't know why Steve's so intimidating. He's not my boss. This is my business. He helps me out. Super cool guy, but oh man, you gotta be on top of your game with him because he is on you. And rightfully so, because I need someone watching me. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is going to be right. Once this cools off, we'll get it hooked up. He's going to come here. He's going to freaking like it. I know it. All right, this is getting a little more difficult and more involved than I thought it would. Okay, so we tweaked the pitman arm a little bit. We also tweaked some of the steering linkage itself because at full tilt, at full right turn, the angle of this was way too much. So I think we're close now. So once that cools enough so I don't burn the living heck out of my hand, I'm gonna throw that in there, and in theory, because this is spinning nice now, real nice. In theory, we'll have steering, so I think we're close, really close. All right, I'm excited, because guess what? We got steering to the right, steering to the left, maybe a little bit more one direction than the other. Little tweak in here, still very hot, little tweak in there. We got our steering shaft in. We realigned our steering box. In true rat rod style, I think we have it. I'm gonna set it on the ground. I'm gonna throw the steering wheel on this thing and see if we got steering with it sitting on the ground. It'll be the first time. Oh yeah, can't get in that door. I gotta fix that because that's annoying. You gotta walk all the way around the passenger side and scoop my big ass over to the driver's side to get this thing done. Of course, there's a bunch of crap in here. I don't know where that came from, but let me move stuff. Get over here. Yeah, quick attach steering wheel too, which is badass. Okay, there we go. Stand by. I don't know where this thing even freaking goes, dude. Where does this thing go? Oh, it's just okay. Never mind. Okay. There we go. Oh, I'm turning. I'm turning. I'm turning. That's me being excited. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of turns on this little steering wheel. That'd be all the way to the right. I can look through the hole in the floor and kind of see if we're straight. Okay, I think that's about straight. And then we're gonna go left. That'd be all the way left. All right. Wait, it's manual steering, so keep that in mind. You got big arms by the time you're done driving this bad boy. Far from perfect, but in true rat rod style, Steve, we successfully got the steering hooked up and working. This thing will turn on its own, preferably a little easier when it's driving or moving, not sitting flat on the floor. Yeah, change the steering box angle, tweak the pitman arm, tweaked the steering linkage. Yeah, we did a few things that were questionable, but you know what? It freaking works, and I'm gonna go through and recheck everything. Naturally, the alignment on this thing's gonna be an absolute nightmare if we even do that, but you know what? That's one little thing I can put a check mark on, because now we can still push this thing in and out, but have steering, and we have not been able to do that so far. So that's a win. I want to thank you all for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and subscribe, because the International build, well, it needs a name. So drop a comment, give me a name on this thing, and let's continue. All right, guys, and until next time on the International Loadstar Rat Rod build, you better follow along. It's getting good.